Hey YouTube, welcome back to Cassandra's Kitchen, where I eat to live and not live to eat. Today I'm going to be making a vegan Buddha bowl. So if you're interested in seeing what I put in my vegan Buddha bowls, stay tuned and I'll show you. Alright guys, so for us today we're going to be doing the vegan Buddha bowls. And if you all know, vegan Buddha bowls, you can put anything in your bowl. So first thing you need is, of course, a bowl. So I found these cute little ashwood bowls at Target. They're real cute. So I figured, yes, I want to do the wood bowls for my dish. So I got a couple of those for our Buddha bowls tonight. And like I said, with the Buddha bowls, there's so many different variations of Buddha bowls that you can create. I'm going to do a hot Buddha bowl. Some people do a cold Buddha bowl. It's whatever you like. You know, those vegan veggies, those vegan foods that you like is what goes in your Buddha bowl. So what we're putting in our Buddha bowl tonight, I'm going to be using quinoa. So I'm using the tri-color quinoa. I'm going to be using some walnuts. Of course, you gotta have some chickpeas or garbanzo beans. I'm gonna be using those because I'm gonna roast those up. And I'm using some sweet potatoes. I'm gonna roast the sweet potatoes. And I'm gonna saute some fresh kale with some red cabbage, mushrooms and onions. And we're gonna have some gluten-free noodles. And what I'm using today for mine is, which is the first time I'm using these rice noodles. And so these, if you buy this brand of rice noodles, they're gluten-free, all natural vegan. They do require you to soak them for 2 to 4 hours prior to preparing them. So don't be like I did last week. I wanted to eat these and I'm like, oh well, I can't use these because I didn't soak them. So I'm going to use these today. So I've had mine soaking in cold water for a little, probably over 4 hours now. So we're going to be using the noodles as well. And we're going to, some of the seasonings that we need. I'm going to be using some fresh, some turmeric powder. Of course, I'm going to be using some spike, some smoked paprika, a little bit of garlic, and a little bit of pink salt. And as I go through, if I need to add something or take something away as far as my seasonings go, I'll just have to see as I'm cooking it because, of course, I like to taste along the way. But this is what you need. This is what I'm going to create my vegan Buddha bowl with. And so if you want to join in with me, go grab your ingredients, come along. Like I said, you can put whatever you want in your Buddha bowl. Just the things that you love and enjoy. So come on, let's get this Buddha bowl started. So what I'm going to first off do, I'm going to roast my sweet potatoes in my air fryer because they're not going to take very long. And I'm going to roast my chickpeas in the oven. So one's going to be in the oven, one's going to be in my air fryer. You don't have an air fryer, that's okay because you can do them both in the oven. But we will need to just kind of coat them with some oil. I'm going to coat mine with some avocado oil. You can use olive oil if you like, but I'm going to use some avocado oil, and then I'm going to season them and I'll put them in. So I'll let you see that here, but let me get my pan and everything out. So go grab your stuff, and we're going to make these Buddha bowls together. All right, so what I've done, I've rinsed off my garbanzo beans or my chickpeas. And what you want to do, you want to get as much of the liquid out of them. So what I'm going to do is just use paper towel to just kind of get some of this excess water off of them. So I just put some underneath the pan and some on top, just to kind of soak up some of the water from where I rinsed them off. I always rinse my beans off if I'm using them from a can. So, and then we're just going to coat these with a little bit of oil, and we're going to season them and pop these in the oven. So these won't take long, maybe 30 minutes or so, just depending on how crispy you want them, because they will get real crispy. So if you like a crunchy, like a corn nut crispy, you just leave them in there for about 45 minutes or so, and they will get really crispy, but we don't want them that crispy, but we do want to roast them up a little bit here. So we're just going to drain and get some of this excess water here. Okay. All right. See, soaked up quite a bit of water there. All right. And so then what we want to do from here, and I already got my oven on. I got my oven on 450. And so then I want to just drizzle a little bit of I'm using avocado oil. You can use olive oil, grapeseed oil for this as well. We want to just kind of get this in here. And then just kind of get them in that oil real good. Just shake them around in your pan real good. Make sure they're all coated. And I use 2 cans here because we're going to be making 4 Buddha bowls tonight. So this is plenty. And I want to season this with a little bit of turmeric powder. I want to just sprinkle the turmeric on here. And you can do this after you cook them as well. You can season, but I want to season mine prior to. I want to put a little smoked paprika on here, just to give it that smoky taste there. Okay, I'm just going to shake these just a little bit more, just to make sure that all of my chickpeas are nicely coated and covered. I love the smell of smoked paprika. It just makes any dish, it just gives it that smoky taste, and I love that. Okay, so as you can see, these are coated really well with the turmeric and the smoked paprika. If you want to put a little salt on them, you can, but I think this is fine for our chickpeas because they're going to go down in with the other things, so I think we're fine with salt. So this is all you do. I'm going to go ahead and place these in the oven, let these cook or roast for about maybe 20, 30 minutes. Just check them because, like I said, I don't want to dry them out completely. And they will dry. So I'm going to put my timer on for 20 minutes and kind of see what they look like at that point. The next thing I want to do is get my quinoa on. So I'm just going to put a couple of cups of quinoa on. And I'm just going to boil this. You guys know when I do my quinoa, I usually put veggies and all that in it. No, very simple. Just boil some water. Make sure you put your salt in there so your quinoa have some flavor. So I'm just going to boil up some of the quinoa with some salt in the water. And that's going to be it. Just get that nice and fluffy. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the sweet potatoes on as well. I'll show you how I prepare the sweet potatoes, but I'm going to get the quinoa on first. All right, so we have our quinoa on. Now we're gonna do our potatoes here. So I'm just gonna get a bigger bowl to put these in. These have already been cleaned, and so all I'm gonna do, again, we're gonna drizzle some of our avocado oil. Like I said, you can use grapeseed oil or olive oil. Just go ahead and toss these with my hands here to make sure, because I'm just going to throw these in my air fryer. The reason, now you typically don't need to put oil on them for your air fryer, but I want the seasoning to stick to the potatoes. So that's why I put a little bit of oil, not a lot. And I'm going to actually season these with some Mrs. Dash. And this is the garlic and herb seasoning. Because I want everything in my Buddha bowl to have some flavor. And there's no salt in the Mrs. Dash. We just want that herbs, that garlic and herb flavor on our potatoes. So get that on here coated real nicely. These are going to be so good. And then all I'm going to do, and if you don't have an air fryer, that's okay. Put them in your oven along with your chickpeas, and they'll cook just the same. So now that I have those coated, I'm just going to stick them in my air fryer. And I don't know exactly how long it's going to take in my air fryer, but I'm going to see about 10 minutes in what they look like, and then if we need to go another 10 minutes or so. but I'll definitely let you know how long, if you do have an air fryer, how long I cook them in there for. And I'm going to put it on the potato setting, so the French fry setting. Since this is a potato, I will use that setting so that way they'll get nice and crispy on the outside, but have that potato in the middle. So I'm going to get these on here. So I'll put that on the potato setting. So we have the two main things already cooking. So we have our quinoa on. We have our chickpeas in the oven. So now what we want to do, and we're going to do our noodles last because we've already had them soaking. It's not going to take very long for our noodles to cook. I'll get my water on for those. But what we're going to do now is go ahead and we're going to saute up some kale, some red cabbage, mushrooms, and onions. We're just going to do a slight saute. We don't want to overcook them. In our saute, when we saute in them, we want to just get them kind of cooked down a little bit. So that's what we're going to do here. So that'll be another portion of our Buddha bowl. So what I'm going to cook mine in is I'm going to use my wok to saute. So make sure something dripped down in my pan. Okay. Because you know it cooks really quick. If you cook with the wok before, you know that the wok cooks really fast. So I'm going to put that on medium, high, between medium. I'm going to use the avocado oil just the same. A little bit down in my pan. And we're going to do, like I said, I want to put some onions in there because I love the flavor of onions, kale, mushrooms, and I'm doing the red cabbage. We're just going to saute this down. We're going to season this actually with our spice seasoning. That's where we want to just get that flavor going in there. And I may put a little bit more garlic. I season a lot of things with spice. I love garlic. Some of the things y'all notice I'll use in a lot of my dishes. Because it just brings out the flavor of that particular vegetable. So we're going to go ahead and move over here to the wok. And I have me a spatula here. And so the things that I want to cook down is going to be my onions. And so I'll put those in first. It only takes a second for this to cool off or heat up, so I stay close because if I turn around and I leave, of course it's going to be smoking, so I'm going to stay right here and watch it. So, but y'all, this is going to be so good. I love Buddha bowls. I love being creative. So you can do the cold Buddha bowls with like your tomatoes, your olives, your avocado, your cucumbers, things like that, your lettuce, and just get a nice bowl going. For a cold Buddha bowl. Okay. All right. We already got a little sizzle coming here. Then I'm going to put in my mushrooms. This is going to be so good. Okay. And we're going to get our kale and our cabbage in here. I always wash my kale and put it in a bag once it's clean. Okay. So that's that. So like I said, we're going to season it with some spice seasoning. And we're going to also use a little bit of garlic. But this spice, I love it because it just gives the food so much flavor. Okay. And it doesn't have a ton of sodium in it either. I think it's like 100 and, let me see, the sodium, yeah, 160 milligrams. I mean, it's better than your Lawry's and some of the other salts that's out there, seasonings that's out there. Because it's got a whole bunch of other natural stuff in it. So that's why I love using the spice. We're just going to saute this down. Like I said, we're not going to cook this too long but we do want to cook it down to get it a little bit tender. And so that's all we're going to do with this part of the dish. And then the next thing we have to do is our noodles. And once all this is done, we'll just start putting the bowl together. And we're going to top it with some avocado. We're going to use some walnuts, and I made some dressing. We're just going to drizzle a little dressing on top. You don't necessarily have to have the dressing, but we're going to do the dressing on top. So we'll get this all cooked up, and once we start preparing the bowl, we're going to go from there. All right, so this is what we got going on over here. Just wanted to kind of bring a close-up to our wok here, how it's actually cooking. And I think I actually want to put a little bit of the turmeric in here. So this is I like the turmeric in the Buddha bowls. They have a turmeric almond butter sauce, which I'm not using, but I did incorporate a lot of the turmeric into the dish here. So, but yes, we got it on our chickpeas. Put a little bit here in our kale and cabbage mixture. Just gonna get this cooked down a little bit more. But you definitely want to make sure your veggies has flavor, because when we go to incorporate all this in our bowl, it's gonna be amazing. Okay, but this is what it looks like close up, just to give you an idea of what the kale cabbage mushrooms look like. So you just kind of saute it down until it gets to the tenderness and the consistency that you want your kale. Like I said, it doesn't have to be cooked like greens down to that, you know, texture, but we definitely want to cook it down just to get some of the toughness out of it. But I still want a slight crisp to it. So maybe about another 4 or 5 minutes on this, and we're going to be done with the saute. So, and we got our quinoa over here cooking. It's about ready to come to a boil. And I did put salt. I actually did sprinkle just a little bit of turmeric in there, just for coloring more so than anything. But that's about ready to come to a boil. Once that comes to a good boil, it's not going to be long before that fluffs up. And then next thing, all we have to do next is prepare our noodles. And we'll start putting this bowl together as soon as everything else is ready. All right, so I think we're done with our kale and red cabbage. It actually tastes really good with that spice seasoning. And the chickpeas, they were ready. They cooked for 20 minutes. 20 minutes was plenty of time on the 450. Look at them. They're pretty, you know, they're not dried out, but they have a nice crispy texture on the outside and tenderness on the inside. So it's going to go very well in our bowl, because I think 20 minutes is perfect. Any more would have been too dry for me for this bowl that I'm, you know, trying to create. But we have this ready. Our chickpeas, our quinoa is still cooking. We're going to have that cooked and get that fluffed up. Our potatoes are almost ready. So the only thing we have left to do is basically get our noodles on. So I'm going to get my water on for my noodles. We'll set this aside, and we'll be almost ready to put our bowls together. All right, so I actually end up doing 2 different types of noodles. I don't know if you guys can see this. I did do the rice noodle, but it wasn't enough. So I end up going ahead and doing some of the other gluten-free noodles that I have. These are with white rice, brown rice, corn, and quinoa. So whenever I make these noodles, I like to do like a garlic butter noodle. So that's what I did. I just put a little bit of vegan butter in here, not a lot. See, just a little, about a tablespoon of vegan butter. I'll sprinkle some garlic powder, some of the granulated garlic here. And that's all I'm going to do with these noodles, and just toss them. And so these will be used for our Buddha bowl as well. So my husband, he likes rice noodles. He likes the butter noodles. He likes them both. So we'll make some of them with the rice noodles. And I just wanted to make sure I had enough. So I just use these. And when I make these noodles, I love to do the buttery garlic flavor in those. So now we have everything ready. We're going to start building our bowls. All right, guys, so we have completed every item for our Buddha bowl. So again, we want to start off with our bowl. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to first of all just put the noodles on the bottom because I'm going to layer mine this way. So I'm going to start off by just putting my noodles in the bottom of the bowl. And again, these are a gluten-free noodle. And then I'm going to layer everything else across. So the next thing I'm going to do is put in my stir fry, which was my kale, cabbage, mushrooms, and onions. I'm going to just kind of put these all to one side. Okay. A little more there. And then what we're going to put in the middle is our roasted potatoes, which we have sweet potatoes that we roasted. Get those layered in here. And then we're going to put in our quinoa. And again, I put a little turmeric powder in my quinoa with the salt, just so to give it that nice yellow coloring. We're going to lay that on this side here. And you can just mix all these together. And then what we're going to do, we're going to incorporate some of our chickpeas here. And my hands are clean. And I'm going to use my hands on these. They've actually cooled down. Okay. And then to top that off, I'm going to use a little bit of avocado slices just to garnish the top and get them out without breaking them here. Okay. One more here. And what we want to do is put some walnuts. So I like to just kind of crumble these up a little bit with my hands just to crumble them down. You can leave them whole if you like. Okay. I'm actually going to scoot these over just a little bit so you can see our potatoes. Okay. And the final thing I want to do, this is optional. I'm just going to drizzle a little dressing on it, some homemade dressing that I made. And there you have it. This is our vegan Buddha bowl. So I want to bring it up a little close so y'all can see it here. We have our quinoa. So we have our quinoa. We have our chickpeas, our roasted potatoes, our stir fry, a little bit of avocado, some dressing, and some walnuts on there. So that's all you do. And in the vegan Buddha bowls, you can put whatever you like in it. But this is what I've put in mine, and everything has been seasoned to my liking. So hopefully you guys can see that. And everything looks good to me. But of course, that's my opinion. So we got to have our taste test. And of course, I have two people in here today that would love to taste this. And I'm going to call over my wonderful husband, Mr. Coleman.
Yes.
Can I have your assistance, please?
Yes, you may. My favorite time once again.
All right. And if I can call over my lovely granddaughter, Ariana.
Yes.
AKA my little Smuff. She's getting older, so she doesn't necessarily like Smuff anymore. She used to be my little Smuff muffin. And then as she got a little older, she's my Smuff. And so she's like, Mima, you're always gonna be my Smurf. So come on over here, my little Smurf. Even though you don't necessarily like the word Smurf anymore. So what do you guys think? What does it look like? Does it look okay? So this is the vegan Buddha bowl. So I want you guys to do a taste test. Now, you can combine it all together or you can just eat individually, because what I'll do as we actually start to eat dinner, I'm just gonna mix it all together. So you want me to mix it together and go from there?
It's fine, however you want us to taste it.
How do y'all want to taste it? All mixed?
Probably. Me, I would like it all mixed probably, but.
All mixed? Okay, so you see, that was presentation. So, of course, it's going to be all mixed. So, I'll mix it together. Look at that. Oh, my gosh, y'all. This is just a bowl of goodness. Okay? Oh, my gosh. Yes. Okay, hold on, because I'm going to make a mess. Okay. Trying to get it mixed up good for y'all. There's a lot of stuff in this bowl. Okay, so it is mixed. Don't know if you guys can see that, but it's mixed up really nice. So here you guys can take a taste test. There's a napkin for you and a piece for you.
Ma'am.
Take it. Don't spill your spoon so you don't spill it all over the place. Just get enough you can taste. And here's your napkin. Get it in there good. And chew it up before you respond. All right. And slide over here and let Papa. She's still thinking about it.
It's different, huh? But let me get on this bad boy.
It's different, but it's healthy and it's good. I can't wait to sink my teeth down into this.
We're going to put all this together.
You're going to put it together, baby?
Yes, I am.
I know you're going to hurt it.
I don't know if I'm going to hurt it. I got to put it all together. Let's see what we got.
It's good.
It's good. She said it's good. Good God Almighty. All right, give me some. All right.
Oh, yeah. It's really good.
Good?
Yes. Those buttered garlic noodles in there. The sweet potatoes. The roasted sweet potatoes and the roasted chickpeas. And the quinoa, the kale, the avocados.
Red cabbage.
The red cabbage, y'all. The onions. I mean, good God Almighty, y'all. This is really good. It really is.
It's really good, right?
It's really surprised me. It really is good. It's a good Buddha bowl. Wow. It really is. The flavor, the seasonings in there, man. Let me tell you, it is popping.
It's really popping.
Yes, it's thebomb.com, y'all.
Okay.
Must do, must try.
It's a must try? Yeah. Well, let me try it then.
It's really good.
I've made it before, and I've actually posted it before out on my Facebook, and people were like, what's the recipe? And I'm like, okay, I have to do a video. So let me taste.
It's really good. You did a great job once again, y'all. Really good.
It is good. Y'all can't wait till this video's over.
Right.
I'm taking this bowl.
Down.
This is my bowl. I'm taking this bowl and I'm gonna run over in the corner and I'm gonna eat this all up. This is so good. So guys, yes, you have to try the vegan Buddha bowl. Like I said, you can put whatever you want in there, but these things that I put in the bowl, they pair well together.
Yes, they do.
So definitely try it. If you tried it and you like it, let me know. Hit me up with a comment. Say, hey, I tried it. I liked it. It was really good. And then share my video.
Won't be disappointed. It's really good.
They won't be disappointed at all.
No.
And he's honest, y'all. Y'all know him. He's honest. That's why I'm sometimes over like, oh Lord, what is he gonna say? But if he does the good God Almighty, or if he says it's good, I trust his judgment. Because he can be my worst critic. He tells me the truth, and I'm like, okay, it just makes me a better cook. So, but again, share the video with some of your family and friends, because I'm sure they will enjoy it.
Yes,
and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to my channel. Yes. I would love to have you follow me here on YouTube. And from Cassandra's kitchen into yours, until we come back in here and throw down again, we love you. Bye-bye for now. Be blessed.